So today's session is about fasting and why we are having it uh, for two reasons. Firstly, it's part of the Yuvam protocol. And secondly, there are people who have got into the fasting zone in the third month of it, typically, which is qualified as fasting parameters. So the idea is to give you a brief कि ये what is it all about, इससे होता क्या है, and why it is important, or what all benefits person can derive out of it, किसको करना चाहिए किसको नहीं करना चाहिए, things like that. So typically, fasting has been a part of our protocol, ever since. In Indian tradition, Indian civilization as such, even if you take it back to Upanishads and all, you would find that fasting was part of our lifestyle. And typically, we do get an opportunity every week, because for every week there is a God to be pleased. So if people want, they can actually, अपने इष्ट देव की आराधना जो है वो किसी ना किसी एक typical one of the days of the week, people tend to do it. लेकिन आजकल क्या हो गया है कि because of the kind of lifestyle, we have just forgotten about it, or we think we won't be able to do it. And then again, Navratri, every 6 months, they generally, they are there. And people were supposed to be fasting during the Navratras, in fact, for whole 9 days. And which again, we have forgotten, and industry has taken over, and they have instituted things like, fasting foods, which is actually a oxymoron. If you're fasting, then you are not supposed to be having food. So they have devised a thing known as this is a falahar, food for the fasting, which is totally absurd, and it creates more problem than it solves. इससे अच्छा तो ये है कि people should not be fasting. That's basically the long and short of it. Okay, so moving ahead, if typically somebody can say that fasting hai kya? So typical definition of fasting is that it is a voluntary abstinence from food, and in some cases water also, for a specific period of time. अब ये specific period क्या है? It can be anything. It can be 24 hours. It can be 36 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours. It can go on into days. 5-day fasting, 7-day fasting, 10-day fasting, 15-day, 21 days, and these kinds of fasting, जो longer duration of fasting है, they are carried out for specific reasons. Generally, we have seen people doing a 24-hour fast, जिसमें कि उन्होंने रात को खाया, and then they break their fast the next evening after doing puja and all. Now, typically, अगर हम बोलें कि definition की fasting कब break होता है, so which means that we are now getting into a zone of understanding what smart fasting can be. So fasting generally is broken when insulin is released in the body, and insulin is generally released in response to the simple carbohydrates which we have consumed. So anything which has carbs would break the fast. So which means that technically anything which doesn't have carb would not break the fast. So if we can ensure that, if you're feeling really hungry, or if you want to, rev up our, kind of electrolytes वगैरह की कमी हो गई है, we want to have something, so one can have that. So it would not technically break the fast. And people who are doing Yuvam protocols, we are following the smart way of fasting, not the typical, I would say the ideal way of fasting, which is supposed to be water fasting, in which you don't have anything except water. So typically, what are the triggers of fasting? Generally we do fast every night while we sleep, because we're not having food, and that is the time we are fasting. But then there are intentional triggers. People for religious practices. In India, typically, like I mentioned, कि नवरात्रा में हम लोग fast करते हैं, या करते थे would be the right word, because जिस तरीके का fast हम आज कर रहे हैं, that's not fast at all. But that was a religious connotation to a very, very scientific practice. So what was the science behind it? We are going to be discussing now. People do it for health, conscious decisions which they make, and it is a good thing to do. And for things like, weight management and all. So typically the lowest hanging fruit is कि my weight, I need to cater for it, कि किसी तरीके से मैं उसको manage कर लूँ. That is the idea. But the point is that आज के session में we'll be discussing कि इसके पीछे की science क्या है. What is happening while we are fasting? So there are very, very obvious and great advantages of fasting. First and foremost is that it improves our metabolic health. So metabolic health में कुछ चीजें हमने पहले cover करी हैं. All those people who have taken our sessions earlier, you know, there are certain things. ये आजकल की जो problems हैं, they are more of metabolic problems. So all these lifestyle diseases are, you know, you can call them as metabolic diseases. So it is improving the metabolic health. और उसमें दो तीन चीजें वो सबसे ज्यादा आसानी से कर रहा है. People who are having diabetes, hypertension, heart attack, you know, there is a few underlying causes, you know, like insulin sensitivity is reduced over a period of time and a person becomes insulin resistant. It caters to the fact that it ensures कि insulin resistance को वापस sensitive बनाया जाए. A person should be sensitive to insulin, which means lesser insulin would do the same job, which for people who are having diabetes or hypertension, even a very, very high level of insulin is not able to do. So it is going to be able to control your blood sugar levels. You know, अगर diabetes से बाहर आना है, first and foremost, सबसे simple तरीका, get into fasting. And that is why a lot of people who are diabetic patients who are undertaking Yuvam protocols have been put through in the third month under various levels of fasting, starting at, you know, 48 hours kind of a fasting. 24 hours से start किया था, 48 hours, and lately they would be introduced to 72 hours fasting also. Fat loss is a natural occurrence of fasting. Incidentally, fat loss naturally कब होता है? So we have a thinking कि अगर हम gym जाएंगे, हम exercise करेंगे, that is the time we would be burning fat. Now that is a fact. उसको कोई deny नहीं कर रहा है. But that is a brute force mechanism of doing things. कि आपको जबरदस्ती उस fat को burn करना पड़ रहा है, जो कि otherwise it is not even moving an inch. तो वो बिना उसके कैसे कर सकते हैं? बिना उसके एक ही तरीका है. So now typically we have seen that people are eating multiple times in a day, which is causing the insulin to be there in the body. So now till the time the insulin is there in the body, it would not allow another hormone to be produced by pancreas, which is known as glucagon. और ग्लूकागॉन आने के बाद ही फैट बर्निंग नेचुरली चालू होती है बॉडी के अंदर. तो अब ये इंसुलिन जो है, व्हाई इज इट नॉट अलाउइंग? बिकॉज इंसुलिन इज अ फैट स्टोरेज हार्मोन, while glucagon is a fat burning hormone. So all those people who are insulin resistant, typically people who are hypertensive, जिनका हाई बीपी है अभी, जिनको डायबिटीज हो गया है, वो ये मान के चलें कि उनकी बॉडी में काइंड ऑफ ग्लूकागॉन का प्रोडक्शन ना के बराबर है, क्योंकि इंसुलिन कभी नीचे ही नहीं आ रहा. सो जब आप फास्ट करेंगे, आप नहीं खाएंगे, and like I said, the definition of getting into a fasting mode is that the insulin production is not there. So उस टाइम पे आपका इंसुलिन जब वो नॉर्मल लेवल्स पे आ जाता है, उसके बाद आपका ग्लूकागॉन का प्रोडक्शन चालू होगा, एंड नेचुरली यू वुड बी अट्यून्ड टू स्टार्ट बर्निंग फैट. इट इज गोइंग टू इंक्रीज योर मेटाबॉलिक रेट. अदरवाइज अगर ये इंसुलिन रेजिस्टेंट अगर कोई बंदा है और वो रहता है, so rest be assured that except for the brute force mechanism, which is going to gym every day and probably exercising, you know, 2 hours or 3 hours a day, he would not be able to reduce his weight whatsoever. कुछ भी कर लो. And the day you stop doing that, you would start regaining the weight, because the fat storage hormone is always there. The fat burning hormone is not getting produced. Another wonderful thing which fasting does is it creates an environment where cells are able to repair themselves automatically through a process known as autophagy. So autophagy को अगर हम simple terms में बोलें, तो हमने देखा है कि सांप जो है वो अपनी केंचुली खा लेता है. You know, once it releases that, it eats that. So similarly, the body, whatever excess is there, you know, it is going to eat it up. सो नाउ जो भी केमिकल रिएक्शन है हमारे सेल्स के अंदर, केमिकल रिएक्शंस ही हो रहे हैं, and they are happening, billions of chemical reactions are happening every second because we have billions of cells. So now इन केमिकल रिएक्शंस में कोई भी केमिकल रिएक्शन जो है वो बिल्कुल, आई वुड से, क्लीन नहीं होता है. देयर इज डेब्री ऑलवेज. So over a period of time, this debris starts to collect in the cell. There are certain organelles in the cells which become redundant and they're just lying around as a debris out there. So over a period of time, once we fast, तो कुछ घंटों के बाद ऑटोफेजी जनरली गेट्स ट्रिगर्ड, एंड वी विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट कि कब वो ट्रिगर होती है. लेकिन जब वो ट्रिगर होती है तो सेल नाउ फाइंड्स कि अरे यार, देयर इज नो probably glucose coming or so I need to do something about it. I need to clear up my debris. So it will start repackaging this, all this debris which is there, and start sending it out of the cell. So basically the cell is going to be cleaned. दिवाली में जैसे आप रोज घर की सफाई करते हो, लेकिन जब दिवाली का टाइम आता है तो आप जब ये टेबल चेयर को हटा के और पीछे देखते हो तो पीछे काफी कुछ पड़ा होता है. देन यू फील कि अरे यार, हमारा तो रोज घर में सफाई होती है, फिर भी ये कचरा कहाँ से आ जाता. सो बेसिकली इट इज लाइक अ दिवाली की सफाई विच यू कैन ट्रिगर वेन एवर यू वॉन्ट. The more the safai you do, the better your house would be. Similarly, the more fasting you will do, the more better results you are going to be getting. So it is also going to be helping in anti-aging process through a process known as hormesis. अभी hormesis चीज क्या है? So hormesis को हम ऐसे समझ सकते हैं कि anything which is not going to kill you is going to make you stronger. विच मीन्स दैट कि अगर हम कोई भी शॉक छोटा सा बॉडी को देते हैं तो बॉडी बिकम्स रेजिलियंट, इट लर्न्स टू अडेप्ट एंड देन इट वर्क्स ओवर इट एंड यू गेट इनटू अ जोन वेयर यू आर बिकमिंग बेटर एंड बेटर एवरी टाइम. तो अगर हम बॉडी को शॉक देने की बात करें तो किस टाइप के जैसे हम शॉक दे सकते हैं? सो इफ यू रिमेंबर, हमने पहले कुछ एक सेशंस में बात करी थी कि वी शुड बी हैविंग कोल्ड बाथ, and I have taken a cold bath in the morning and बिल्कुल chilled पानी में. And obviously once you get into taking that, you feel kind of a mild shock कि अरे too much of ठंडा पानी is coming and you're feeling कि अरे ये तो बस I should just get out of it, but you just stand there. So after about 2 or 3 minutes, वो जो ठंडा पानी है वो आपको नॉर्मल पानी लगने लगेगा because your body is adopted now. So that is one of the shock therapies which is generally given. और उससे फायदा क्या हो रहा है? उससे फायदा ये हो रहा है कि जो हमारे normal white fat cells हैं, they are converted into brown fat cells, which helps in further metabolism, and my own fat cells are going to be burning energy in spite of me being sedentary. So similarly, फास्टिंग के अंदर जो है एक हर्मेसिस क्रिएट हो रही है. इट इज नॉट अ नॉर्मल वे ऑफ डूइंग थिंग्स, but suddenly there is a shock which has been given to the system wherein a lot of her longevity genes are triggered by this process. So I will be talking about it, not in detail because that is not the subject of interest today, how anti-aging happens. But all I want to tell is that anti-aging is aided by fasting. Now Yuvam has a protocol wherein people who have attained total health, including you guys, would be able to get into the zone of reversing your age. And we would be having a subsequent session later, जिसमें हम anti-aging कैसे होता है वो बात करेंगे. So one of the ways of doing it is having a elongated fast. Then in the last session, we have talked about chronic inflammation. जिसमें हमने all these aspects सारे कवर करे थे कि chronic inflammation क्यों होता है, कैसे होता है. So typically fasting is going to be helping in reduction of inflammation in our bodies. In fact, in our cells and outside of the cells, it is going to be helping in repair of organs also. And it is going to be helping in reducing inflammation in the intestine, which is the gut microbiome. So we will see over a period of time that people who get into the fasting zone or people जिनके ESR levels इन सबके जो बढ़े हुए हैं, you will find that they would slowly and steadily start to come down. So these are the general, advantages, mota mota, which we have through fasting. I'll be covering that जब हम fast करते हैं तो over a period of time क्या होता है. So, and I'll be restricting it to about 72 hours because 72 hours is a good amount of time where we can derive almost all the benefits of fasting. We can go beyond 72 hours also and keep deriving those benefits. But 72 hours में जितने benefits मिलने चाहिए उतने तकरीबन हमारे को मिल जाते हैं अगर हम उस टाइप का पीरियड जो है वो फॉलो करें. So within the first 2 hours, what is happening while you have stopped eating is basically nothing is happening. Your body is still digesting what you had eaten और उसका absorption चल रहा है. So उसके अलावा अगले 4 घंटे में you would see that कि इंसुलिन जो है वो ड्रॉप हो गया है क्योंकि इंसुलिन जनरली stays in the body for good about 4 hours. और उसके बाद इंसुलिन लेवल्स would start to drop. लेकिन हमारे लिवर और हमारे मसल्स में ग्लाइकोजन के स्टोर होता है which is supposed to be lasting for next 24 hours. So liver stores about 100 grams of glycogen and muscles they store about 300 grams of glycogen, which is a readily available source for us to last next 24 hours. तो जब हमने खाना बंद कर दिया है तो 8 घंटे के बाद जो है वो तकरीबन हमारे ग्लाइकोजन रिजर्व्स को यूज करने के लिए बॉडी जो है उसका इस्तेमाल करती है और धीरे धीरे लिवर और मसल्स जो हैं वो ग्लूकोज को रिलीज करते हैं एंड दैट इज हाउ वी आर एबल टू सस्टेन. So by the time we are into the 12 hours of not eating, that is the time we are entering the typical fasting state. And the glycogen stores, they start to deplete. क्योंकि वो 24 घंटे का ही एक तरीके से स्टोर है ग्लाइकोजन का. Now it starts to deplete. So typically if you see, हम बोलते हैं लोगों को to start their exercise protocols in the morning. Why do we say that? Because once you've had your last meal, so अगर आपने 8 बजे खाना खाया है और आप सुबह 7 बजे के आसपास जब आप एक्सरसाइज करने जाते हो, we intend deliberately, for you to deplete your glycogen stores. That exercise is much beneficial कि vis-a-vis कि आपने खाना खाया है या उसके बाद आप जो है वॉक पे चले गए. So exercising in the morning is going to give you better results. But this is how things happen after 12 hours. 18 घंटे के बाद जो है things start to change and the magic starts to happen after that. So autophagy is going to be triggering after 18 hours slowly. Now for people जिन्होंने कभी फास्ट नहीं किया है उनका हो सकता है कि 18 घंटे में भी ऑटोफेजी ट्रिगर ना हो, इट मे टेक 24 आवर्स. लेकिन जो लोग फास्टिंग को काफी टाइम से करते आए हैं उनके केस में 18 घंटे से पहले भी ऑटोफेजी ट्रिगर हो सकती है. Similarly, now since the glycogen reserves are very low, is the time our fat burning is going to start. क्योंकि अब इंसुलिन तो है नहीं, so glucagon is being produced. अब ग्लूकोगॉन जो है वो नेचुरल फैट बर्निंग प्रोसेस को स्टार्ट करेगा. इट इज गोइंग टू बी अनलॉकिंग दोज डोर्स. नाउ योर बॉडीज रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ एनर्जी इज गोइंग टू बी मेट more and more by fats than by glucose which was stored. 24 hours आते आते आपका ketosis level which is burning of the fat by the use of glucagon is going to be increasing. So fat burning जो है 24 hours तक आते आते आपकी काफी बढ़ जाएगी. But that is the time when your adrenal and cortisol levels are also going to go up. Now this is again a nature's defense mechanism, which means कि let's say there is a hungry lion in a cave और उसको 24 घंटे से कुछ खाना नहीं मिला तो वो क्या करेगा? एनर्जी तो है नहीं, तो क्या वो मर जाएगा? लेकिन हमने कहावत सुनी है कि भूखे शेर के सामने नहीं जाना चाहिए. Why is it so? Because after 24 hours the lion is very ferocious, full of energy, much more vigilant, much more, his senses are very sharp. Why is it so? Because the adrenaline and the cortisol levels have gone up. Now the nature wants the lion to go out and hunt, make a kill, so that it is able to survive longer and live his lifespan. So by the time we are at 48 hours, there is deeper ketosis which is happening. Autophagy, it increases. So there is cell debris which is getting cleared, left, right, and center. person is getting younger, anti-aging kicks in, and there is also a release of growth hormone. Now, growth hormone के बारे में I think people must be knowing, और नाम से ही quite clear है that this is a hormone which is used for growing. Now, it grows so many things. It helps people to attain their height. It helps people to grow muscles. It helps people to carry out angiogenesis. So more and more muscles are getting built up, new blood vessels. Now, there are people who have got growth hormone deficiency also. तो ग्रोथ हार्मोन का एक सिंपल सा छोटा सा इंजेक्शन वो 4 IU का इंटरनेशनल यूनिट्स का वुड कॉस्ट यू समवेयर अराउंड 500-600 रुपीज, जो कि आपको डेली लेना है. पीपल हु आर डेफिशिएंट ऑफ ग्रोथ हार्मोन. नाउ अ पर्सन हु गेट्स इनटू फास्टिंग, there is a 2000% increase in the growth hormones due to fasting. Body starts to naturally produce growth hormones much more, 2000% more than otherwise. So it is going to help you make younger. This is also anti-aging property. Aapki skin would be better. You would be feeling better. You would be, once you get out of fasting, you'll be able to build muscles better. So this is where the growth hormone, paradigm kicks in. And at 72 hours is once everything starts to come together. At this point of time, there is a continued autophagy which is happening. And once you end your fast after 72 hours, is the time when the stem cell production also starts to happen in our body through a bone marrow. Stem cells are getting produced, and wherever there is a requirement, they'll be sent. So let's say somebody is having a problem in his heart and his heart muscles are not, they are weakened, and there is a requirement of, ensuring that stem cells are made to reach the heart. Now, for certain people who are into this kind of a zone, unko stem cell therapy di jati. Stem cells are actually pumped in for people who have got weak heart. Lekin how much of stem cells are utilized? Not even 0.1% in that kind of a extraneous therapy jo ki hum bahar se de rahe hain. But body, once it starts to produce stem cells on its own, it knows ki wo stem cells ko kahan bhejna hai. So it will send it to heart, and the heart is going to be repaired. Similarly, people having problems in their liver is going to be repaired. People having problems in their lungs are going to be repaired. So this is what happens when we do an entire stretch of, let's say, 72 hours. We can go beyond that also, but the point is there is typically no need. So if you are able to do it repeatedly, 72 hours in Yuvam's protocol is a good enough deal. It's not required. And people who literally want to do it, to experiment and see how it would happen, is the time, they can do it under our guidance. Now, how is a person, going to cope up with this entire duration? अगर मैं किसी को बोलूँ कि 24 hours का fast करो, बोलोगे अरे sir, मेरा तो पेट में गुड़गुड़ होने लग जाता है, I start to feel hungry and मुझे चक्कर आने लगते हैं, nauseatic feeling होती है. That is all what is true. Nobody is even denying that. ये हम कह ही नहीं रहे कि ये symptoms आपको नहीं आते हैं. But ये symptoms आपको क्यों आते हैं? It's a different paradigm again. The kind of lifestyle you have been living till date is ensuring that कि आपको वो symptoms आएं. लेकिन जो लोग युवम के protocols ले रहे हैं, and I would, by the end of the presentation, I'll ask those guys, अभी जो धीरे धीरे करके फास्टिंग में इंट्रोड्यूस हो चुके हैं, they themselves would tell us कि वो भी यही बात कहते थे कि अरे सर ये कैसे हो सकता है. But these are the guys who are now doing it. So you would get out of these symptoms because हम फास्टिंग पहले दिन इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं कर रहे हैं. In the first month, people have just joined Yuvam, फास्टिंग का तो कोई जिक्र ही नहीं है. You're having your 3 meals to your fill, and we are saying कि जितना आपको भूख लगे आप उतना खाइए. So we are ensuring that जब आप फास्टिंग मोड में धीरे धीरे आएंगे, you would not be feeling all those symptoms, which if I tell you today कि आप 24 घंटे का फास्ट कर लो, तो you would not be able to do. That is also a given. आप कर ही नहीं पाओगे. But once you do these Yuvam protocols over a period of 1 month, 2 months, you will realize that things are, changing. So typically again, people have this concept कि अरे fasting करेंगे तो हमारा blood sugar drop कर जाएगा. No, it is not like that. Even after a 7-day fast, your blood sugar levels are going to be remaining where they are supposed to be. पर आप शुगर तो खा नहीं रहे हो, तो ब्लड शुगर लेवल कहाँ से मेंटेन हो रहे हैं? ब्लड शुगर लेवल्स आर गेटिंग मेंटेन्ड बाय ग्लूकोनियोजेनेसिस. Whatever is required for your body to maintain homeostasis, it is doing everything on its own. You don't have to worry about it. Now, this is, if you remember, हमने chronic inflammation का जो last class लिया था, उसमें we had talked about, people having कि chronic inflammation की one of the last stages क्या है. So पहले कैसे थी, होती है, फिर कैसे हो जाती है, finally जाके how the cell function is in a disarray. So let us suppose that, on day one, it is already in disarray of fasting. So which means that we have de novo lipogenesis happening. There is a mitochondrial dysfunction. We have a lot of oxidative stress and inflammation within the cell. तो ये हमारा माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया है जिसको कि ठीक से काम करना चाहिए लेकिन वो काम कर नहीं पा रहा है. It is not able to do its actions properly, और जिसकी वजह से we are having chronic inflammation and aging much earlier than it should be. So after day 2, how it would be? So after day 2, there would be an improvement in the function. The how things were, things would start to get better. And by the time the autophagy triggers, the entire cell would be functioning in the manner it is supposed to be functioning. So this is the impact of metabolism, which is through fasting. Okay. So what is generally the effect on our organs? So by the end of 72 hours, there is another thing which is getting triggered in our brains. So brain starts to form new brain cells through a process which is known as production of brain-derived neurotropic factors, which leads to neuroplasticity. So your memory function is also getting better because of fasting. So you will be able to, remember things. All those people who are having brain fog, just forget about it. You're now not going to be having it ever going forward because you'll be introduced to fasting protocols. Liver is going to be better now. If people are having fatty liver, उनका fatty liver का fat जो है, that would be burned. People who have got into a zone of, liver getting fibrosis, that would be reversed. Stem cells, stem cell production would start once you end your 72 hours fasting, and then your tissue repairs of various organs is also going to be carried out. And the gut microbiome is going to be restored. So there's going to be increased microbial diversity in our guts, and healing of the gut is going to take place. So people who are having a leaky gut syndrome, that would be catered to. So अगर हम ये सब चीजें कर रहे हैं, so what about कि अगर हमें fast को break करना है तो कैसे करना है? Because that is also important thing to do. If you just start eating, let's say after a 72 hours fast, the way you are eating, your body is not going to be able to, take it in the manner it is supposed to be. So we have to really, after 72 hours, or let's say even after 48 hours, take care that we are able to get back into the zone. So it is an important aspect. So that is why we have listed it out here. So you have to ensure that, after you break a fast, you're hydrated well. You choose foods which are easy to, be digested. They should be nutrient dense food. Again, you should not be consuming carbs, too much of it. Something which is, more containing more fat. In that aspect of it. You should be having small portions initially. So आपने typically कुछ खाया है, फिर थोड़ा सा break दे दो आधे घंटे का, फिर कुछ खा लो. In that sense, you should include probiotics. You should be, chewing slowly. And why I have mentioned chewing slowly so many number of times, just to emphasize the fact that it should be like that. Now, you have to also monitor your body response, how your body is responding. If you're feeling slightly, कि stomach में कुछ हो रहा है या थोड़ा चक्कर सा आ रहा है, so, give it a break. Have it after some time. Then you should be avoiding overeating, and you should reevaluate your health after 24 hours. Your health obviously is going to be better. But if you feel anything, then again, instead of eating or overeating, try and take it in a relaxed manner. These are the options typically one can adopt. Wherein we have given option one, you can have a small piece of coconut and a handful of nuts and seed while you are breaking your fast, or you can have a vegetable broth or a bone broth or clear soup and follow it up with the steamed or roasted vegetables. Option three is you can have curd with berries or slight honey and small serving of cottage cheese. That will also help it. So what we are trying to do in Yuvam, you know, uh, with fasting as one of our paradigms of the protocols which we have for you, we're fixing the diet along with time restricted feeding. So even the intermittent fasting is a small part of the overall fasting protocol which we have talked about. So yes, 16 hours में we are not reaching the levels which we have shown कि जैसे 18 घंटे में क्या होता है, 24 घंटे में क्या होता है, 48 hours पे क्या होता है, 72 पे क्या होता है. But while that would be introduced, we have already from the second month onwards put you into the paradigm. In fact, by the end of the first month also, we have put you into the paradigm of time restricted feeding, wherein we are going to be ensuring that while you continue with the Yuvam way of things, you are having time in a particular zone, not sorry, you're having your food in a particular time frame, not beyond that. That would help us in reaching those fasting times later, wherein you'll be able to do that. And it is important for various reasons which we have covered in various knowledge sessions of ours. Then again, talking about what we are doing with the Yuvam protocols is ensuring that your gut is healed through pre and probiotics, and then reducing stress through sleep and diet therapy, which would be introduced for people who are having a lot of anxiety. Now, some interesting facts about fasting, which people generally don't know. Hundreds of studies have shown that people who are on chemotherapy, people who have cancer, if they are introduced to 36-hour water fasting, it reduces the effect of chemotherapy. So all those problems which they face during chemotherapy, they don't even face it. So in fact, chemotherapy जब वो करने जाते हैं तो their normal cells do not die, they become resilient, while the cancer cells die. So chemo is very, very effective. However, there is also an interesting fact which people should know, which is that 7-day water fasting reduces chances of having cancer in your lifetime by 70%. So in Indian culture, just about, I would say 100 years back, cancer was unheard of because people were doing a 9-day water fast during Navaratris 2 times in a year. सुना ही नहीं था कैंसर. Or cancer is rampant these days. You know a person or a family कि हाँ यार उसको cancer हुआ. Any sort of cancer. So if you're able to do a 7-day water fast, or leave aside this, if you're able to follow your traditions and your customs, if you can do a Navratri fast twice in a year, you will not be having cancer. The dizziness, some people feel कि यार मुझे चक्कर सा आया and all those, वो सब हुआ मुझे, and it is a given that it happens. तो वो क्यों हो रहा है? तो it's not that कि आपका blood sugar कम हो गया है, because I told you that even after 7 days water fast, your blood sugar levels are not going to be going down any which way. So it is just because that your blood pressure is getting lowered. Now it can get lowered because of the lesser electrolytes, which typically would not be the case up till 72 hours of fasting. Body is going to ensure that not even a single molecule of sodium or potassium is going to go out. Kidney is going to get it back and put it there. तो यूरिन में भी नहीं जाएगा. लेकिन अगर फिर भी लगता है जिसका जो पहले से ही इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स में डेफिशिएंट है, there are certain people who may feel that. So they can have, while they are fasting, keto electrolytes, which will ensure that their electrolyte level, और नहीं तो ऐसे ही normal आपने नमक डाल के पानी में if you can have it. So it is not because of that you're having low blood sugar, it is because of you're having a slightly lesser blood pressure. And people who are hypertensive, it is very, very beneficial for them because now they are getting more sensitive, insulin sensitive, and further there would be a lowering of the blood pressure and it will get into the optimal zone. So this is all I have with respect to the presentation part of it, and you can shoot your questions now. So I hope everybody has got a hang of what we have talked about, and we are open to questions so that कुछ भी आपके दिमाग में we are able to address it. जो ये कह रहा है कि हम ये कर नहीं सकते, वो आराम से करेगा. That is a given. So forget about it कि ये कैसे होगा, because people are already doing it. You have just been introduced to it, doesn't mean that you would not be able to do it. So while everybody has been able to do it, so you would be able to do it. I was on a 3-day water fast just 2 days back. 2 दिन पहले ही था मैं. तो मैं तब भी ऐसे ही था, अब भी ऐसे ही हूँ. तो एंड इफ एनीबडी फील्स कि नहीं मेरे से नहीं हो रहा, तो मैं साथ में करने के लिए तैयार हूँ उसके. बट दैट वुड बी एट अ वंस द टाइम कम्स. सो ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने अभी करना है. All I want you to ask questions because that is going to help you, clear your doubts about fasting. So पहले तो मैं वो जानना चाहूंगा, the guy who is not convinced with this fact, with this science, यार ये क्या है, ऐसा करना ही क्यों है? Anybody?
I will add on one small this thing also as a factual, because a lot of you would be having the same diet. I have got this doubt. This doubt has been asked by a lot of people to me. So I will clear this doubt without people asking. The thing is, why this regime, why our protocol is different than the other dietitians who generally gives you a set diet and they tell you to have low calorie, exercise more. If you burn more calorie and you eat less calorie, the Kiko equation will inverse and you will become slimmer and fitter. Now that concept is something which is a concept which is completely we are against, and we are into the concept of time sensitive diet, where when and what to eat may when assumes more importance than what. That is what we generally go through. Now the reason behind it, a very in a very layman term, I will explain you in the next 2 minutes. Every body has got a capability of birthing or having a metabolism rate which is generally is regulated by your thyroid gland and the thyroid hormones, and you have a metabolism. For example, person A will be burning 2000 calories in the day by just sitting, basically pumping his heart, kidney functions, breathing, lung function, every all organ, all body functions. He will burn 2000 calories in a day. There will be someone who will be burning 2500 calories a day. There will be someone who will be burning only 1800 calories a day. That is called the basal metabolic rate, your body's metabolic rate. Now the people, a lot of people tell कि यार मैं तो कुछ नहीं, मैं अगर हवा भी खाती हूँ तो मैं मोटी हो जाती हूँ. और कुछ लोग कहते हैं कि इसको देखिए खाते रहता है लेकिन पतला रहता है. मैं और मेरी कुलीग सेम पेस्ट्री खाते हैं, 2 दिन में मेरा वेट बढ़ जाता है लेकिन उसका नहीं बढ़ता. Okay, so the concept behind that is your basal metabolic rate is less. अगर आप 1500 कैलोरी बर्न कर रहे हो, अगर हम केवल कैलोरीज की बात करें एक दिन में, और अगर आप पेस्ट्री खा रहे हो जो खुद ही 1500 कैलोरी की है, so you will not burn. The person who has got 2000 calories normal burning plus वो walking exercise जो उसकी normal routine और आपकी भी same routine. So the thing is you will put on more weight. Now then you go to a dietitian. When you go to a dietitian, वो आपको डाइट देता है, सवेरे पोहा खाओ, शाम फिर उबली हुई सब्जी खाओ, फिर ये शाम को ये खाओ. इसमें क्या हो रहा है, then they will count calories, calorie. Like if you go to Healthify में आप हर चीज में calorie count 120 then आप mathematics करते रहते. Now what happens is you say okay, I have burnt 1500, means I will have I'm like dietitian tells you, you will get a diet plan of 1200 calories per day. आप वो लेते हो, आप वो खाते हो, बट वो आप सारा दिन खाते हो, वैन का तो कोई संबंध ही नहीं है. देयर आफ्टर यू एक्सरसाइज, आपकी घड़ी बताती है यू हैव बर्न 1500 कैलोरीज, राइट? एंड यू एक्चुअली लूज वेट. आई एम नॉट सेइंग विद 15-20 days, 1 month you lose weight, but once you leave this thing you gain weight fantastically faster, because of the fact that low restricted calorie over a period of more than 28 days will lower your metabolic rate. Why? Because your body in a low calorie diet gets into a thing called starvation mode. It is something like अगर आपके फैक्ट्री के अंदर बैकअप जनरेटर है, मगर अगर लाइट थोड़ी सी डिम हुई है या फिर एक फेज चला गया तो यू डोंट यूज द बैकअप जनरेटर बिकॉज उसमें बहुत पेट्रोल लगता है और ऑल दोस थिंग्स. यू से कि ठीक है, ऐसे नॉन एसेंशियल फंक्शंस हम बंद कर देते हैं, but let the things go. So once you're on a low calorie diet, you feel tired, you feel fatigued, you feel a bit sleepy. Okay, because you feel weak throughout the day because your body is into the mode of burning less calories. In fasting mode, what happens is that your body starts burning fantastically well calories, and then by as Vivek said, by 48 hours it gets into uh, producing ketones. Now, once your body starts burning itself in a fasting mode, that is water only fast or a black coffee or a green tea only fast, when you start burning more after 28 days or a month, your basal metabolic rate will start increasing. Once it start increasing, you will as it is start reducing a lot of weight. Lot of people say यार मुझे ना ठंड में ज्यादा ठंड लगती है, किसी को ठंड में कम ठंड लगती है ना. जब किसी को ज्यादा ठंड लगती है, क्यों लगती है? क्योंकि उसका बेसल मेटाबॉलिक रेट कम है, तो उसको ठंड ज्यादा लगती है. अब गाय हुज गॉट अ गुड मेटाबॉलिज्म, बेसिक मेटाबॉलिक रेट, ही कैन वेयर हाफ टी शर्ट्स एंड ही कैन गो इन कोल्ड, देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम टू. ऐसा नहीं कि वो झेल रहा है, उसको ठंड कम लगती है. लाइक इफ यू गो टू अलास्का, यू विल फाइंड पीपल वेयरिंग normal half shirts and we will be wearing down jackets and going there once you if you visit anywhere like that because of the basal metabolic rate. Other ways of increasing your basal metabolic rate is by converting your white fat into brown fat, as Vivek says, cold water shower. But the most simplest way is fasting. Once you fast, it is the best way because whatever you reduce, you will not gain back immediately. Okay, so that is the major difference between having a low calorie diet and eating it throughout the day and counting calories with calculators. And secondly is having fasting, and during eating window, have as much as you want. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah. Sunita ma'am, you have a question?
Uh, my question is, while we are in a daily regime, okay, fine, going to work, coming back, and all that is fine, I'm able to still manage. But while you're traveling or there is some other social commitment, how do we actually manage this? Because when you're traveling, जैसे you guys have stopped my fruits also. I love fruits. You stop my fruits. Okay. Now, so what do I eat? And then I'm a vegetarian. So चलो eggs तो मैं खा लेती हूँ. So how do you manage? सुबह सुबह कहाँ से मैं millet रोटी लाऊं या पकौड़े लाऊं या some So what are the tricks and how do you manage this? And sometimes because I don't know if this is the reason, uh, though I try to finish my dinner by 8, but I have to really get up early. सो 10 साढ़े 10 बजाने के लिए आई मीन वो 9 o'clock के आसपास आई फील दैट स्टमक इज ग्रम्बलिंग. आई ट्राई टू टेक सम ग्रीन टी. अर्लियर आई वाज हैविंग माय कॉफी पोस्ट लंच, बट अब मुझे बोला है 2 बजे के बाद नहीं लेना है. एंड अर्लियर आई यूज्ड टू गेट मे बी अ हेडेक और एसिडिटी अगर मैं जल्दी कॉफी लेती थी. बट आई हैव ट्राइड टू चेंज दैट. आई एम टेकिंग कॉफी इन द मॉर्निंग. 2-3 बार पिए एंड टच वुड, नो हेडेक्स, no acidity, all that is fine. But you really need to tell me a way कि how do I stop that grumbling? Because मैं सुबह 5 साढ़े 5 उठ जाती हूँ. And then of course I'm trying to do my yoga and everything. Seen some little change also. Not drastic, but yes, I have seen little change. The weighing scale has also moved a bit. And maybe few millimeters, I would say, not inches, but something has moved. So
Okay.
please tell me how do I tackle this situation, especially while I'm traveling.
Okay. Now, Sunita, the thing is, the regime which we have told you again, as Vivek has said, that we have given you a window to eat and what to eat. We have given you millet and all those are just a kind of diet. If you want to have anything else as per your state, it is fine. In case you're traveling somewhere, if you can't eat anything, you would like to go and eat outside, there is no matlab ki there is no other way. And first, okay, first I'll tackle the window when wala, and then I will tackle the what wala. Okay, first is when. As far as your when is concerned, when you're traveling, it is not an emergency. Okay, you know when you're traveling, you know when there is a party, you know when there is a social engagement, you know certain things a bit beforehand. When you're going through this regime of 3 to 6 months, this is the time. This is not for whole life. This time you have to have a bit foresight. कि अच्छा यार मेरे को आज शाम को someone has called me for dinner and I expect that with those people I will be eating my dinner at 10 o'clock at night, or say I will be eating my dinner at 11 o'clock at night. So eating matlab completing. Whenever I say the time, that is the completion of your eating. Okay, so now you minus 8 hours from, or whichever week you are right now, since you are in the first month right now, you are in first month, no? So if you are on first month, so the thing is, we are now dhire dhire making you get into the most basic form by fourth month of 16 is to 8. Say if you are right now at that 10 hours, or you are at the you are at say 10 hours or 9 hours of window, whichever whatever is your eating window, you prepone. I will give you a small example in case you are at a 10-hour window right now. So from, if you are eating at 2300 hours, then you minus from that, then you eat your breakfast or whatever it is there that day at 1 o'clock कि भैया उसके पहले मैंने केवल कॉफी और वो ग्रीन टी पीनी है, उसके वो और कुछ नहीं करना. Your grumbling of stomach will go away. Now the thing is, as far as grumbling of stomach which is there, if you have water and other things, then generally it will go. This is basically because your body that time is used to have something. There is a voluntary reaction in the body, and there is certain aspects of involuntary. For example, you can't control your heartbeat, isn't it? You can't control it. It is involuntary reaction. Same way, there are certain things in your body which is involuntary. Okay, now those parts में से आता है ये eating habit. Once you are in your life, you've been ingrained of eating at some time. We are changing that concept of timing. So when there is a time, psychological need comes कि यार उस समय दिमाग को लगता है कि यार इस समय तो मेरे को खाना, इस समय something had to go at 8:30 in the morning. People who were used to having दूध cornflakes and single fries. So the thing is that, so that time of body, तो उस समय that grumble happens. Once your body is getting out of an inertia, going somewhere else, there has to be some a little bit of willpower for you कि भी उस समय grumble रोक. I will, as far as hunger, I will tell you, hunger ka the thought is that if you understand what is hunger, okay, like if you see the concept of hunger, which ultimately started long back, but conditional learning, which was introduced by Pavlov, it started with hunger of dogs only. He came to know that it is more psychological than physiological. When the time, again, because your time was at breakfast, उस समय आपका मन कर रहा था खाने का, psychological need was there, but was actual physiological need. We in 21st century eat 5 times in a day. Our body doesn't physiological require so much of food. It is psychological need. बचपन में जब घंटी बजती थी इंटरवल की, तभी हमको भूख लगती थी, उसके पहले नहीं लगती थी, because that घंटी was the thing. Same way is the time. If you are धीरे धीरे धीरे, you will condition your mind as per the Pavlov's conditional theory, that you will condition your mind धीरे धीरे to eat at the time when you are actually hungry. So your hunger will start getting physiological and not psychological. The aim of time restriction and giving you this thing is to get you into intermittent fasting and making your hunger physiological, not psychological. That is the part of when. Okay. Oh, doubt रह गया तो बता दो मेरे को. And those millimeters will go away. This is just a beginning, but because this is just first month as an introduction to you towards this regime. Actual regime starts from the fourth and fifth week.
Okay.
Anybody, any question, anything which is
Neelab, you have a question? Please ask.
Yes, sir. So rather than a stupid question, कि अगर हम 72 hours का fast करते हैं,
पहले तो interjection. There are no stupid questions. There may be stupid answers.
yeah. So if I go ahead with the 72-hour fast, जो मेरे supplements जो मैं खाता हूँ, तो क्या वो मैं continue कर सकता हूँ कि वो मुझे रोकने पड़ेंगे?
72 hours. Once you're doing that 38 hours, 48 hours, and 72 hours, you are not supposed to have supplements. right?
Okay.
Supplements, if you see all the supplements which I have given it in the non-eating window, and the supplements which I have told you to have empty stomachs. Okay. Those supplements are also for 72 hours, it is not required.
Okay.
That is a point that matlab ki this is a good point. In the next time, once we are giving the by the way, Nilab is in the 3rd month of his diet plan, where he will be going on a 3 days continuous fast, and he has
Yeah.
started this diet plan like all the people. So there are different batches here for others in others, in case, because I have found a couple of shock looks. So the thing is that for 48 hours and 72 hours fasting, Vivek, I think we will include it. It is our fault that uske andar we will put that supplements will not be taken.
Okay, and one more thing, people who are on medication, diabetes, especially diabetes, except for metformin, they would not be taking that medicine for diabetes for the duration of the fasting. 48 hours.
Metformin they can take.
Metformin they can take, except metformin वो आप नहीं लोगे for the duration of the fasting. People who are already on medication. Hypertension का आप ले सकते हो, that's not a problem. Specifically only for diabetes, except metformin, you will stop taking that medicine while you are doing your 48 or 72 hours of fasting.
Vivek, what about thyroid medicines which we take?
Pardon?
Thyroid medicines.
Why?
The thyroid you have to take.
Thyroid.
Thyroid you have to. People who got hypothyroidism, their medicines cannot be stopped right now, because that is your that is regulating your metabolism. So thyroxine 50 mg, 75 mg, 100 mg, whatever you're taking, you have to take that type. And thyroxine, whenever you take thyroid medicine, you know that you can take it empty stomach also, because it is straight away absorbed by the liver. It doesn't require any nutrients. It is a pure hormone.
Now, incidentally, fasting is going to be helping liver big way, which is further going to be having a magical effect on your thyroid hormones. So going forward, fasting is a protocol which would be helping you get out of hypothyroidism also.
But that is a long thing. That will take 12 to 15 months. Because repairing of an organ takes a long time. जितना आप 20 साल में किया है, repair को at least 1-2 साल तो दो.
So always remember, if you are in some deep shit, it's not 1 day or 2 day doing or 1 month or 2 months problem. It's a chronic problem which was there for the past 15 to 20 years. And we are trying to do it, solve that problem in 1 year, ensuring that you get out of that medication forever, which currently medical science does not has a solution for it. वो medicine आपको जिंदगी भर खानी है, if you and nothing is going to be solved. So don't think कि अरे 1 साल लगेगा. 1 साल तो कुछ भी नहीं है from the point that where we were or where we were. It has taken you 20 years to be here. So 1 year is nothing. So and चीजों को don't get either too excited about it or too bogged down about it. Things will happen in the manner they are supposed to be happening. वही वाली कहानी है कि भाई एक सीजन आने पे ही जो है वो फ्लावर वुड ब्लॉसम, उससे पहले नहीं. तो वो चीजें जो हैं वो अपने अपने टाइम पे होंगी. So keep reporting good things which you are feeling, any anxiety, just like Prabhu shared with us. So all those things are normal because you're getting out of it. और पहले आपको 2 महीने में ज्यादा लगेगा, उसके बाद तो you would start getting better every week onwards. So वो जो सारी problems हैं ये आपके पहले 1-2 महीने की हैं, उसके बाद तो you will start reaping the benefits and you would start yourself getting into the zone कि हाँ देखो हो रहा है. So in fact, I would ask Sanjay ji to share his views, because he's in the 3rd month and he's been a diabetic patient, I think, for the past 10 years, if I'm not wrong, and he's not on any medication now, and it is only his 3rd month. We have promised him that by 12 months he would be out of it any which way. So in fact, today morning also only he had sent me ki unka fasting was 100 and after a 24-hour window, his glucose levels were 80. And I'm quite sure that कि उन्होंने वो काफी time से नहीं देखे होंगे. It is only because of this very protocol that he would be seeing all these results, and slowly and steadily he will be out of diabetes forever. Sanjay ji, if you can share your views. We're not able to hear you.
One second.
Hanji, now we can.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Hi, everyone. I joined the regime 3 months back, in fact, through a common friend. And initially, I was thinking like it's not going to help me at all. Let's just try for this. But to be honest, it was actually reaping a huge reward to me. And fasting जो window में सर से रोज knock करता रहता हूँ. It was impossible to even like remain without food for 2-3 hours, I'll say. And today, this month, I've already successfully done, I'll not say 48, but 42, 44 hours, four
Wow,
times,
wonderful.
4 times. With a bit correction. In fact, in the initial one fast, I was taking that soup with the vegetables. But then Sunil sir recommended कि आपको broth ही लेना है. So I think only today morning I completed 10 morning I completed my 40 hours.
Wow,
I was doing my
congratulations.
breakfast along with the seminar going on. And yesterday I checked, it was 80 before sleep, and morning it was around 100. That
Yeah.
pre-dawn symptoms or whatever you say. And my HbA1c dropped, I told, from 8.5 to around 6.75 in the first month. And then I stopped taking that medicine. In fact, I got myself tested today. Hopefully, I'll be touching like below 6. I'm confident. And there's no reduction in the energy level. I'm traveling a lot. In fact, मेरा रोज का travel 3 घंटे का है, boss. I travel to Noida, Greater Noida, based from Faridabad. And it's almost 3 hours daily. And वही मैं विवेक सर से बोल रहा था यार कुछ solution दीजिए. At times लगता है कि वो mentally लगता है कि you are in a business, you are doing so many things. तो कई बार वो equation करके माहौल करके ऐसा लगता है कि you should have something. But technically body does not require. I can extend it to 50, 60 hours also, but I'm stopping myself. So I think we'll be graduating to 60, 72 also this month.
Yeah. So no,
This has been a
excellent.
fantastic journey, and believe me, this is a fantastic insight. Just to give you an example, there was an emergency 7-8 years back. I had a kidney stone, huge pain. The doctors suggested immediate emergency operation. And a friend of mine, he was into homeopathic. He says, "Come to me," and after seeing the report, he says, "Can you bear the pain for 72 hours? I'll correct you." So I agreed. And ultimately वो किडनी स्टोन निकल गया और फ्लश 2-3 बार ही मेरे साथ हुआ और उसने फ्लशिंग कर दी. सेम डॉक्टर आई वेंट फॉर दिस शुगर, तो इससे यार ये तो रिवर्सेबल नहीं है, आई कांट ट्रीट यार, 11 11.5 का तुम्हारा HbA1c है, आप फूड कंट्रोल करिए, रिवर्स नहीं होता है. तो दिस वाज हिज इनपुट. आई मीन टू से इवन डॉक्टर्स नॉट इन्फॉर्म्ड, दे डोंट नो what actually is required. जो आपने बेसिक्स बताया, फास्टिंग विंडो, और there's a huge insight today. So I think there's a self-correcting mechanism within the body,
Yeah.
which if you are able to understand, and it can reap you reward, which I am reaping now. And let's कल 8 से 10 तो मैंने TT के गेम भी लगाया ऑफिस में, फास्टिंग में. Just to tell you, there's been no dearth, and there's a badminton court getting ready at the site. अभी होगा next time, हो सकता है कि मैं I've already lost 9-10 kg. The aim is to get 20 kg now.
Yeah.
तो लोग विवेक से लोग, मुझे लग रहा है I'll be attaining that also.
Yeah. Don't worry, human lifespan is
Thanks a lot.
150 years.
It has actually helped me, and I strongly recommend it.
Chalo, that's a really
Thank you.
motivating talk from Sanjay ji. I hope everybody, all those new joinees, get to understand the science of it. You don't have to fret. You don't have to frown.
I've lost around 10 kg. I've lost in now 2.5 months. And inches loss भी हुआ है सर, 2 इंच loss तो हुआ है मेरा सर.
2 inches, a hell of a lot of this.
Yeah, it has sir. Actually, I'm just waiting when it's going to stop so that I can stitch my new clothes. Sir. Like.
एक साल बाद.
Abhi to we not recommended. You are in a
Right.
transition phase now.
जी,
Metamorphizing into a younger person now. So don't worry.
I look younger now,
Yeah.
sir.
He's
You're
in fact,
actually
you are
looking
looking
also
good.
very young from the time I've seen you, because
Yeah.
I'm seeing after a long time.
विवेक सर ने तो अलार्म दिया था मेरे को कि यार this is something dangerous going on.
So,
Anyhow, sir, thanks a lot, and thanks everyone. Shukriya.
Okay, so
Okay.
congratulations to you, Sanjay ji, because he's been a diligent follower of the protocol. He ensures that in spite of his travel routines and other commitments, he's able to do those things, and he's reaping the rewards. Medicine, diabetes की बंद कर देना, you're getting into already a zone. अभी ये third month
No
ही है.
medicine for this.
तो हम तो 12 महीने की बात करिए. So, and I'm quite sure कि by 9 month, 12 भी नहीं लगेंगे इनको. By 9th month, it would be reversed forever, his diabetes, and he would be just like any normal person around. And वो बैडमिंटन जब ये खेलेंगे तो फिर इनके साथ वो मैच नहीं कर पाएंगे. That is how it would be. So all we want to say is that human lifespan is 150 years. 100 years that you can play football, no problem at all. You just have to stick to the basics. ये program में भी nobody is saying you to eat less. We are always telling you to have your fill. आपको ये नहीं लगना चाहिए कि मुझको भूख लग रही है जब आप खाना खा रहे हो उसके बाद में. Have as much as you want. That is the idea, and you will see that your metabolism is getting restored, the basal metabolic rate getting higher, through fasting protocol, which is an ingredient or inherent part of the entire Yuvam protocol. All these benefits which we have told you, they will kick in at that particular period in time, especially उस किस किस घंटे पे क्या क्या होता है, is the time all these things are triggering up. So there is a motivation कि हाँ आप 72 hours तक जब कर लोगे, it would encompass all the benefits which are typically fasting would provide. So going forward, and since we have this session recorded, we'll be posting it up also on our now YouTube channel, so people can always go and look at it. So anybody else having any question? Neelab, you have another question, or we have already answered your question?
Yeah, one question, sir.
Okay.
So my last meal was yesterday at 9. अभी मैंने भी कुछ खाया नहीं है.
Mhm.
So can I continue? Like मैं 72 hours आज ही मैं start कर सकता हूँ अगर मैं करना चाहूँ. Because अभी मैंने supplements ले लिए हैं morning.
Okay, no problem. There is no, for 72 hours, there is no major requirement, no major preparation is to be done. If you want to start 72 hours now, you are absolutely most welcome. The very fact that you are deciding that I will go immediately right now is a big, big encouragement for us. Means all the best to you, and you just continue with the 72 hours, because since you are on the third month, and Nilab, you also has been one of the people who have been following it very, very religiously. So for you, it will be I know that it will be a very, very absolutely smooth sail.
And sir, during these, I would say, but till Tuesday, I would only have, if I want to, is green tea and black coffee. That's all, right?
Yeah, but and in case you need the bone broth, you can have that. What I've told.
Okay.
Because that will actually help you out a lot, because the bone broth has got a little bit of collagen, and it will increase the fat which it has got will increase your matlab ki there are three kinds of ketones. So in 72 hours we would like your beta hydroxy butyrate, which is the actual ketone which is there for helping you produce ATP, and so that during the HGH your human growth hormone जो जब आपका act कर रहा है, autophagy कर रहा है, उस समय तीनों एसिटोएसएच तीन कीटोन्स में से I'll keep it simple, ये जो है जो मैंने बीटा वाला बताया ये ज्यादा प्रोड्यूस होता है with the bone broth. So autophagy में for your cleansing and everything it is much more it will give you much more kick. So it is rather helpful, and plus it will absolutely kill any hunger pang because of साइकोलॉजिकल इशू कि यार मैं सारों दिन से खाया नहीं, कल माइंड बोलेगा यार पूरा दिन हो गया मैंने खाया नहीं है, सो इट विल गिव यू हंगर पैन. उस समय you just have it will kill your hunger, and it will make your autophagy much more qualitative than quantitative.
And just to add to it, one more thing, I think I should have covered in the presentation, but अभी बता देता हूँ. जब आपका stem cell production होगा, after 72 hours when you will start eating, तो उस टाइम के बाद ना बहुत से लोगों को मसल वीकनेस और एक वगैरह सा लगता है. तो ये बोन ब्रॉथ जो है वो किस लिए होता है, कि आपका जो पोटेशियम लेवल है ना वो कम हो रहा है. इनफैक्ट while the bone marrow is in the process of creating stem cells, it is using potassium to do that. पोटेशियम लेवल जब आपका कम होगा तो आपको मसल एक और ये वो दर्द वर्द लगेगा, कमजोरी सी भी लगेगी आफ्टर 72 आवर्स. But if you're having bone broth, so your potassium levels also would be restored while you're having it, और वो आपको problem वो उसके बाद वो भी नहीं आएगी.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah, Gautam, you wanted to ask something?
Vivek ji, coffee shots after, like you have said, no coffee shots, but मैं coffee shots ही लेता हूँ.
Okay.
And is it okay? Like I take till 5-6 in the evening.
नहीं, I would rather suggest कि आप अगर 3 बजे, विवेक, I'll just tell him, ठीक है, कि इसने विवेक को बोला था, but since मैंने आपके, if you remember your diet and supplementation plan पे मैंने capital में लिखा था no coffee shots. I think 17 point or there is I remember your this thing इसलिए.
Yes.
Because yours was a case which I remember very well, because I had made your supplements and plan very passionately, because you had a lot of josh, which you still have.
Yeah, 6 weeks. 6 weeks are done. So down by 12.
I will give you by 3 o'clock maximum, because of the fact that I will tell you the maximum weight loss of yours, maximum burning of your additional fat which is happens. Everybody, please listen that it doesn't happen during exercise. It happens during sleep. And the repair work, burning of the fat and the repair work, जो आपकी body का anti-aging. Like right now, I am also seeing your bags, everything is reduced a lot. Your face is completely, एकदम ही वो हो गया. Someone has sucked something out of your face. Good.
Yes, sir. 12 kilos lost in 6 weeks.
Yeah, वही, and I had to just stop myself to tell you that आपका face काफी पतला लग रहा है. So the thing is कि क्या बोलते हैं, this coffee shot, especially the shot, will not let you get into the sleep, the REM and the deep sleep. Your body will generally fluctuate between REM and light sleep. Deep body sleep के ना phase होते हैं. There are phases of going from light sleep to REM to deep sleep and then going back to light sleep. This is one phase. पूरे रात में a healthy person should have 3 phases, minimum 3 phases of this. Coffee shots after in fact 2 o'clock. I'll give you 3 o'clock because now you are at a good phase. Coffee shots will not give you those 3 phases of this thing. So the 3 times, minimum 3 times of deep sleep, where your actual autophagy's quality is improving. Your this anti-aging factor which is happening, you're getting more handsome. That thing will get restricted more.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sir, another question. 8 hours sleep is a must?
7 to 8 hours.
But I can't sleep more than 5 hours.
I would rather say 8 hours. I always ensure myself, और अगर कुछ नहीं होता तो फिर mitigation, मतलब हफ्ते में 5 दिन तो मैं 8 घंटे करूं, या 4 दिन तो 8 घंटे करूं, बाकी मैं 7 घंटे कर सकता हूं, 7 से कम नहीं.
Lifestyle is as such that I can't sleep more than 5 hours because I get up every day at 4 o'clock. So सोते 10:30, 11 हो ही जाता है. So it's only 5 hours that I'm getting, and I don't feel tired or anything, but I'm getting only 5 hours sleep. I can't sleep more than
so
that. Is
इसका
it okay?
I will tell you the repercussions of this. Now repercussions इसके long अभी क्या होगा, which I'm sure right now also you would be feeling. I don't know, but the thing is that you would have hit a plateau right now. मतलब कि for the last 7 to 10 days आपका weight stagnant हो गया होगा.
Yes, since past 15 days.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Please understand. Now I'll tell you. You just increase your sleep to 7 to 8 hours, and after 7 days, you tell me that my weight is still stagnant. Then we will see about it.
Okay. So I have to sleep for 7 to 8 hours for further reduction.
Absolutely. What I'm trying to say is कि जो जितना gain आपको मिल रहा था पहले diet से, अभी it is law of diminishing returns. Every time, like अभी for if you see, like we are putting people on 72 hours. Then we will, by 4th month, we will get you back on a normal 16:8. Then with a sprinkle of this thing. Then by 5th month, we will give another jhatka.
Okay.
So the body intermittent का मतलब होता है that it is not कि every day मैं 1 बजे खाऊंगा और शाम के 8 बजे खत्म. It is not, because then your body will get used to one routine. Break routine. However, that cumulative 7 hours is the key for you, because now you have reached the optimum stage of a person who can be fit and can have 5 hours of sleep.
Okay.
But for you, I'm looking for at least another 15 kgs.
Yeah. My target is like, as I told you, it's 35 kilos. So I'm just out of 12 kilos.
Yeah.
So for the 23, I have to go out.
Yeah, it will go out. You're looking at a man of 40, is minus 40 kgs. So I'm telling you, but sleep is very, very important.
And
now
other thing, sir,
आपने
कहा था no gymming, but you know, as I'm losing weight, because I have always been a bodybuilder, so अभी ठीक है, I was not doing it for a while, but then you know, then the body starts sagging and all that. So I've started going to the gym, I do
Good,
35,
but
40 minutes, just, very minimal weights with repetitions, and then I come out within half an hour, 35 minutes.
we will be recommending on 4th month, we will be recommending you high intensity interval training with resistance weight.
Okay.
Which will be proper. I will be telling you to do proper high weights and then going down.
Okay.
Half weight and then kill. I will then, because 4th month till first 3 months is to get detox, you get that bad fat out. 4th month to 6th month, building muscles.
Okay. Other thing, I'm following your windows very, regularly. Lunch is between 3:30, although you have said 2 to 3, but I get time between 3:30, and my dinner is between 8 to 9.
Okay.
Okay, sir. There's no
Absolutely.
breakfast, nothing. Now the problem is when I go home, I'm hungry. Jab tak khana garam hota, I'll either take cashew nuts or something. It's going in, but body weight is reducing. That's the good part.
But
So is it
what I'm
okay?
saying is it is why I'm saying is कि अभी reducing हो रहा है, you're having cashew nuts, that is absolutely fine. But what I'm trying to tell you is that ultimately ये जो आपका जो plateau है ना, this is all because of this small things. Cashew nuts are actually the nuts with sugar balls. I call them, they got a tremendous amount of this thing.
Okay.
If you want, you can have, like I have told you कि if you want to जो भिगे हुए भी नहीं खाने, कभी कभी आपको भूख लग रही है, have macadamia, have pecan, have brazil, have badam, have अखरोट.
Okay.
ये 5 नट की जार जो है, क्या बोलते हैं, it is always lying on the dining table for me also. For example, during the eating window, कभी जैसे for me it is a lifestyle. 16 is a lifestyle. So I keep on popping one or two of them in between. Like for example, मैं like I ran 14 kilometers, 12 kilometers and 10 kilo. I ran last week total accumulating 36 kilometers. So जब मैं भाग के आता हूँ, उसके बाद 1 बजते तो by the time I know कि I have to make my salad or things like that, तो फ्रिज से निकालता हूँ, उसको थोड़ा, मेरे को उसको ठंडा, मतलब थोड़ा सा रूम टेम्परेचर में लाना है, तब तक I start popping nuts. Okay, भूख लग रही है ना, I have my piece of coconut and then I start popping nuts, घूमते फूकते खटक. मैंने बादाम को, what I do is मैंने उसको ओवन में, what you call that, थोड़े से घी में उसको रोस्ट कर दिया, सॉल्ट डाल के जार में डाल दिया. So it is very crunchy.
Yeah.
So I love my alcohol. So whenever I have that, it reminds me of beer. But of course, that it is only on weekends for me right now.
Yeah.
So
also, one last question. Like, this lunch thing, breakfast is totally out of my regime now. And during lunch also, जब 3 बजे जाता हूँ, only when I'm home, then I feel hungry. Otherwise, if I'm not pushing myself out of my office, I'm not feeling hungry.
Fantastic.
So like, can I follow this diet for the rest of the life, like skipping the breakfast or no?
Yes, you can absolutely do it. For example, out of 365 days, at least 200 days, I only eat once a meal. Me and Vivek, both हम लोग एक ही बार खाना खाते हैं.
Okay.
And so you can say that we are on permanent 22:2 बोल दो, या I call anything in 2 hours is one meal. Okay, कि आपने कुछ खाया, फिर कुछ खा लिया. If you continue this for life, then there will be no more. Then तो फिर आपसे तो ज्यादा कोई healthy होगा ही नहीं.
Okay. Chalo sir, we'll try to reach over there also. It's just the 6 weeks. So
but the thing is, since you are in the 6th week and you have overcome your hunger, I'll again implore you ki don't necessarily, even if you come back home, if you feel that you don't feel hungry, don't eat.
Okay.
And in the evening, you have that chicken as much as you want.
Okay, and then the supplements again, as someone else also had asked, like Tutka, I have to take just before my first meal, right?
Yeah.
And the other ones, like the other one, I don't remember. Jo 3 pills leni hai, I think Karela hai kya, I don't remember.
Yeah. Okay.
So that I
that
pop
empty stomach,
in the empty stomach, like around 12:1, I just pop it, and
you pop it.
There is no side effect.
Yeah, there is no side effects.
All right,
that is, in
thank
fact,
you.
empty stomach. The emptier the stomach, the better it is, because it is detoxifying.
Okay.
It is actually, the thing is, that time those toxins are there in your stomach. It doesn't know what to do. It is waiting for something to come so that it shoves these toxins inside and then put it in your love handle in the fats.
Okay.
So us samay, this chlorella will isolate those things, and then it will pass through your stools.
All right. That's it. 38 se 34 pe aa gaya hu. Target is 32. I don't want to go further below than that.
Oh, that's wonderful. No, but your face is very much.
Yes, I have also. No, मैं सर को picture भेजी थी विवेक जी को, like जो 45 days का before and after. So एक हलवाई की picture और एक अभी की picture दोनों भेजी मैंने उनको. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
You
you.
can go gymming next on the 4th month.
Okay.
Complex.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we're done with questions, and anybody still wants to ask may ask, so that now we can actually go and close the session now, if we have your permission to do that. Okay, so thank you everybody.
Thanks a lot.
It was really nice having you here, and we hope that not only the intent is, I write it always, that get more and more people in the sessions whom you can invite. They can just be part of it on a listening watch, because this science is actually it's very, very deep research, and it's not available. It is being made available to you on a platter, and जिसको भी आप invite करोगे, so others people can understand कि हो क्या रहा है, ऐसे क्यों होता है, at least the science behind it. So that would be great going ahead, and we'll be having another session in next 15 days, and hope to see you in that session as well. So thank you.